Hello, dear friends. Someone once told me, you young people want to fix the world, but the world cannot be fixed. I believe it can, with divine help. Opinion piece. Age of sovereignty. Silent reset. The dawn is here. Financial revolution. Beginning of change. Political sovereignty. Spiritual sovereignty. God awakens underground. The old world feels the tremor. Let's start. The era of sovereignty begins, according to Steve Biko. For centuries, the world moved within a cage built on debt, fear, and silent rulers from whom no one voted. But beneath the surface, a different system awaited, ancient, encrypted, and protected. They call it Gisara. It was whispered about and feared. Sovereignty is defined as the capacity of a human being to govern his own life autonomously, making conscious and responsible decisions about his body, actions, emotions, and well-being, without unnecessary external subordination. David Icke promotes the personal sovereignty over systems of economic and digital dependency, aligned with this vision of solidarity and truth against the negative energy. The spiritual sovereignty is the autonomous capacity of a human being to govern his inner life, recognizing his inherent divinity, freeing himself from external conditioning, and exercising conscious control over his emotions, energy, beliefs, and decisions. Political sovereignty is a movement that defends the full sovereignty of a territory, promoting its independence and autonomy from supranational entities. Silent revolution. The old world feels the tremor. The hidden bolts shake. The networks of shadows shatter. The architecture of control fractures from within. Gisara is not a law, it is a signal. A code transmitted through the planet's networks, liberating sovereignty where slavery once existed. A pulse that dissolves the chains of humanity-forgotten war. Gold awakens underground. Coins begin to remember their true value. The false weight of debt evaporates like smoke in the sunlight. The wealth of the few crumbles. The wealth of the many rises. A silent revolution written not in blood but with balance. What Gisara means in this new era. Currencies based on truth, not manipulation. Wealth that flows through merit, not hierarchy. Nations rebuilt on honor, not self-interest. Human beings who once again own their own future. A new system where light replaces secrecy. They mocked it. They buried it. They erased it from the books. But a system designed to liberate humankind cannot be erased, only postponed. The change has begun, not with fanfare, not with speeches, but with the silent collapse of everything built on lies. Gisara is the reset of spirit, wealth, and truth. A plan for a world where no human being will ever again kneel before debt. The dawn isn't coming. It's already here, and nothing can stop what has already awakened. Opinions. David Icke believes that President Trump is implementing the financial reset and is a wrecking ball for the current system. He links this to the demolition of the East Wing of the White House as a symbol of destroying the old system in order to implement another one. Ethan White of Gaystellar claims that NASA has admitted that the Apollo missions to the moon were a hoax, based on recent statements and evidence such as irregular shadows in photos, the floor waving without an atmosphere, and the absence of stars. Media mentions a financial revolution with 50 credit unions that will replace the Fed and eliminate property taxes forever, ushering in an era of prosperity. She also mentions a parallel system of crypto assets to tokenize the treasury and end interest payments to banks. Elon Musk said, in quotes, "They think they can stop me. They think politics and media manipulation can derail the mission. They are wrong. My commitment to drastically cutting unnecessary spending and streamlining operations is unwavering. The mission will not end until inefficiencies are eradicated. We are not just riding out the storm, we are the storm. The future is electric, autonomous and unstoppable. Stay alert. Be prepared. The revolution is accelerating." Close quotes. The static in the Arctic Channel traces the origins of the Venetian black nobility as a Babylonian oligarchy that infiltrated Western society from the 13th century onward, controlling trade, usurious, banking, and culture through families like the Medici in Florence and the Venetian patricians. They financed European banks, popes, slavery, and the humanist Renaissance by rediscovering Greek texts to evade church censorship. It was a Platonic Renaissance that promoted multiculturalism, geopolitics, and depopulation, with both positive and negative aspects. Economy. X22 report. The new economic system is being implemented, and the pieces are coming together. This is a contrast between economies that adopt centralized and restrictive policies and those that benefit from the dynamics of a new decentralized system. Eliminating the flow of money is the mechanism used to paralyze operational capacity of the weak. The ultimate goal is to place people in positions of power who will uphold the rule of law and deliver justice. They are fitting together the final pieces of the puzzle. This panic is a confirmation that accountability is imminent and that the legal approach is paying off. The economic system is being restructured, moving away from centralized control, which translates into tangible benefits such as lower gasoline prices. The day of liberation is approaching, according to the X22 report. The concept of the day of liberation has become a rallying cry in the independent media landscape, signaling not only political change, but a restructuring of global power. This day is not a single date, but the culmination of sustained efforts, financial sovereignty alongside geopolitical sovereignty, by dismantling the networks from the dark side. Reports of counterattacks confirm that these efforts are succeeding and that the world is moving toward a state of liberation. The fight for freedom is being waged on two crucial fronts: economic sovereignty against central bankers and systemic independence from the dark side. National sovereignty cannot exist while financial systems are controlled by powerful and elected entities. The old financial order is under immense pressure and is fighting to maintain control. The path is paved with financial independence and control over national resources. The liberation process is not merely political. It involves dismantling networks that have operated under the protection of the establishments. Efforts are underway to expose the countries and entities involved in manipulating election results. Fulford summary. The financial system is imploding in real time. The shadow banking is $100 trillion because of cards. $100 trillion house of cards. This is the definition of systemic risk. The Fed's only strategy is to print more money. As repayments accelerate, the dominoes spread beyond shadow banks. Regional banks face collapse. Assets are frozen as liquidity evaporates. Domestic bailouts become possible, and deposits are sized to stabilize the banks. The other problem is that they have used our money to inflate housing prices so much that people are forced to sign slave-like debt contracts to buy one. One example is 50-year mortgages. The first 25 years are spent paying interest, and borrowers end up paying $1.4 million for a $400,000 house dollars. It is to say, almost 3 times more. So this is what the white hats are offering as an alternative. It would begin with a jubilee that would put an end to slavery. Slavery will be abolished by forgiving all debt, public and private. There are $50 trillion waiting. All that's needed is to agree to the establishment of a future planning agency in harmony with existing institutions. Then the new temple can be built and the new era can begin. Macrobiotics. Michio Kushi explained how to control health and was silenced. More than 20 years ago, a man appeared before the US Congress to issue a warning that, in retrospect, would seem more like a premonition than a speech. He spoke of an alternative form of nutrition, of the innate human capacity to heal itself, and of the danger facing Western civilization if it continued to ignore the natural laws that govern life. Few listened, but that message, delivered in 1999, resonated like an echo from the future. He spoke about the vital energy Qi or Qi as the basis of matter and health. He explained that all illness arises from stagnation of Qi and energy frequency that flows freely to generate health. Matter is vibration organized by consciousness, aligned with quantum physics. The macrobiotic diet balances yin and yang to restore this flow, avoiding processed foods that block energy. According to this view, all illness is nothing more than an interruption in the circulation of Qi, an obstruction in the vital flow that connects mind, body, and spirit. When this energy stagnates, illness appears. When it flows freely, health, mental clarity, and inner peace emerge. But accepting this truth meant recognizing that the power of feeling resides within us, not in pills. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.